Okay, so I want to talk about judgments. So when we start the system and we start to move our stress, we start to project all our judgments, yes? And then ultimately, we start to see that the judgments are about ourselves. That which I judge is an aspect of myself. But when I liberate all of that energy, when I liberate all of that stress, the judgment starts to diminish. Firstly, it diminishes energetically. And the relationships externally start to change. The majority of our judgments are generated from our childhood. We have judgments with our parents, our teachers, etc., 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 our siblings. But why? Because they're judgments with ourselves. They're things that we believe are true about ourselves. And we see them externally and they annoy us. But as we express, it's vital that you're so present that you, at some moment, you will see, I am that. I am that. That is me. I'm judging myself. Okay, and then it starts to disappear. Now, when the judgment disappears, what happens? Silence. Silence. And then you start to witness. But from a place of internal silence, place of compassion, place of unconditional love. I am that, I am that, I am that. All aspects of myself, of my human experience. And they're no longer affecting. And it happens in an instant. It's a process till the instant. That's what consciousness does. It's a process, boom. Enlightenment, process, boom. It doesn't do this. It's not like you're cultivating something. You're not cultivating anything. You're eliminating that which isn't real. So you're diminishing, not cultivating. The consciousness is there. But it's like a diamond, no? You can't find it underneath all the dirt. And then when it appears, and you start to polish the facets, and then it shines in its own brilliance. But all different. Every diamond's different. But it's the same. It's all the same. It's all a diamond. It's all consciousness. It's all love. It's all the same. Okay, so this process has a reason. We move all of that energy and then we express and we let it go. Now we're coming into the 5th month. But this is an important month because the judgments are starting to leave. And the stress, even though it's there, it's not so dense, no? The victim's not so involved. In fact, the consciousness, the witness, is starting to identify. Oh, that's my human experience. Oh, that's my program. Oh, that's my judgment. This I can let go, this I can let go, this I can let go. And the energy doesn't hook. And the victim stops flourishing. The victim grows if you feed it. If you water the victim, he becomes a forest. And you get lost in the forest. If you don't water the victim, it starts to fall. Then it plants the seeds of compassion. The seeds of compassion are the love, are your consciousness. That's you. The victim is not important. Okay, so you need to start being very conscious of this moment. Very conscious of this moment. And really be witnessing. Yeah? So I'm going to be very focused on this. In the meetings. Yes? And to see that you're starting to perceive what serves and what doesn't. I'm sure the teachers are telling you. But I'm going to tell you in a different way. And you're going to get it. Yeah? Because I'm like that. I'm not so sweet. Now my glasses don't fit. Ugh. Now they fit.
My question is, how can I find that security internally, independent if I have money or not?
You know, you function in a material world. And it's a sea. And consciousness is, it's two sides of the same coin. You know, you're having a human experience. You know, you can sit there and go, and it's not going to pay the electricity bill. And they're going to throw you out of the house. It's not wrong. And this is what you need to see. You know, there's a balance. So I have my consciousness and I have trust. Okay? I see the finances coming in. But if something transpires that doesn't happen, you still have trust. But it's not to judge the money. Money's just energy. And we need it to function. It's a fact. You know, we have this idea that spirituality or consciousness is heavenly and money is dirty. And the interesting thing is, you were taught that by the church. And they're the richest people on the planet. So you need to remember that. Sorry, but it's true, huh? That's a fact. That's not a judgment. That's a fact. Okay, so firstly, let go of the judgment. But I know what you're saying. That gives me security. And that's okay. But there's something deeper. Because when the pandemic happened, remember what happened. There was lots of insecurity, lots of financial destruction, lots of businesses collapsed. And if you're so identified with that, you're not open to the windows of possibility because you're not trusting. So it's not so much about security generated through finances. It's about the trust. The trust in my capacity to adapt, to evolve, to flow, and to change. And if you're unlimited in that, and that the source of that is consciousness. You know, the minute the pandemic started, I was straight onto it. I said instantly, Zoom. We've got to start Zoom before anyone was Zooming. You know, the first thing was quick. We have to buy this, move. Because we have to function. You know, we're a spiritual organization. But we have to function in the world. Okay, so it's finding that balance and the trust. I closed Uruguay. I said, this is not going to happen. Everything, all attention in Mexico. Fortunately, I was right, because we moved everything to Mexico. If Mexico had closed, we were in big trouble. But were we? No, we would have invented something else. Because we change. We do this. And you have to have that capacity. So don't allow your internal security be compromised for your external security. Because that stops you from having a broad vision. Okay? And that fear stops everything from flowing. So basically, the point is trust. Always trusting, always flowing, always being open, always giving, focusing on being the best, no matter what you're doing. The best for you, the best for the environment, the best for the world, the best. Always functioning from a place of giving. That's what's important. And joy and love. Doesn't matter what you do. Mm?
I always was a child and continue being a dreamer. I have many dreams. And I want to ask how to bring that to the present moment always, those dreams and those.
You know, it's not about dreaming. It's about creating. You know, we can all fantasize. You know, you can be a champion of anything. You can be a superhero. You can be the president of the world. But you have to decide what you want to pursue and move into action. But you have to be clear. You know, a clear vision is unlimited. It doesn't matter what you're focused on. If you have a clear vision and you move into action, you will create it. But if you're in the clouds and one day you want to be Barbie, and the next day you want to be Olympic champion, and the next day you want to get married and have children, and the next day you want to be an astronaut, all you can do is write books. You know, and that's unlimited. Or create a movie. But if you want to really achieve something, you have to have a clear vision. So this is what you need to ask yourself. You know, it's nice to fantasize, but if you really want to move forward, firstly, you anchor in consciousness, and second, you get clear and you move into action. You know, that's how the world works. Because energy attracts, clarity attracts, and it's unlimited. If you have a clear vision, you can create anything. But you have to have that clear vision with an openness to flow and change. Hmm?
Aisha, I've seen in my process a programming I have that if there is a conflict where I am, I try to appease the parts, but I saw that I do that a lot with my family. They are appeasing in between my brothers, in between with my mother. And now that I saw that programming, I want you to help me to push more myself to say my truth.
So, you know, the thing is you have to sit in silence. Because you've got too much attention externally. And you can't please everyone. Because you're not chocolate. That was something I got in the mail yesterday. Okay, I'm going to continue. The thing is, this is a mirror. And when you're looking externally, the mirror always shows you duality. And it's so exhausting trying to please everyone. And it doesn't receive anything. But if you're anchored and you're clear and you're loving yourself, you have the capacity to say yes, to say no, and that's freedom. To speak the truth from a place of love, and people appreciate that. You know, that's the irony. We're all so afraid we're going to lose something. But if you're clear, if you speak the truth, it's the greatest gift you can give to anyone. But if you're on tippy toes, yes, 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 you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I should have. If you're apologizing for living, who are you abandoning? You. And you can't live in abandonment. And that's why you came here, to find silence. Here I am in my silence, and from that moment, in each moment, I move. I move. Consciousness in action. I speak. Consciousness in action. Or I don't. That's another thing. Have the capacity to be silent. Just to listen. You know, most people want to talk. I find that wherever I go, in the world, people are always telling me their problems. They'll get me in an elevator, in a hotel, and start telling me their problems. And why? Because I listen. I just listen. And it's the greatest gift. That's why everyone loves animals. Because they just listen. Yes. So learn to listen. Stop feeling you have to save people. And catch that, no? Always trying to save. Because really you can't fix people's problems. You can just mirror and they fix them themselves.
It happens that a lot of people in this process show me a lot of love. It praised me many things. And in the moment they are saying that, is as if I block it. I block it. I don't receive 100%. And then I feel sad that I didn't receive it. And I want to know how to move through that. Because I always ask for love, and it's given to me, and it's if I avoid that.
I can answer that. So the thing is, you avoid because you get uncomfortable. It's like, oh, thank you. And you have to stop. And you have to just be present. And you have to listen. Present. And feel the being uncomfortable. And dissolve it. Because it's a place of non-deserving. You know, we hear it superficially. But if there's a judgment, it's the loudest thing you can hear, no? And you run it round and round and round in your head. Yes? If someone criticizes you, you open to receive it, and then you torture yourself with it. Okay, so see that. See that. No more. And you'll start to see that all of you receive more love and compliments and appreciation than criticism. But you're never open. No, not many people are open to receive. It's very superficial. But if it's a criticism, oh, it's deep. Oh, how could you say that? I'm going to ask my friend, am I really like that? I didn't think I did that. You don't ring and say, am I really beautiful? Did I really grow so much? Is it all true? No, you don't mention it. You see? Do all of you see that? Yeah, it's incredible, no? And then we see the world as a cruel place. But it's not true. Because there's always love coming. But can I see it? Can I hear it? And more importantly, do I believe it? This is the big question. Do I believe it? Ask that question. And if you don't, open. Force yourself to open. It's uncomfortable, but I'm going to really be here with that. Yeah?
I feel I'm a person very earthy, very basic, very worldly. And I feel the most basic of this group. But it's not that I have a judgment. I'm happy with that. Especially now that I have this tool that really is going to make me suffer less, because to be so earthy makes me suffer a lot. For example, last week the soccer elimination started and nobody cared here. And I was the only one thinking that in there. I like many basic things. I never read self-help book. I never work on my spirituality. And now I want to know, this of being so basic is a limitation on developing my divinity, or I can be very basic and divine. Divine too. I want to know if that is related or not. If I'm too mundane, if it's an obstacle for my divinity to be.
Okay, I want to tell you something. The more common you are, is the greatest gift. Because you're innocent. People that know everything have so much trouble evolving. Look at me. I'm a farmer. I was a horse trainer. I knew nothing about anything. I didn't know anything about enlightenment. But I had a connection, a very innocent connection. And I listened to that connection. And I knew what football team was playing. Don't you worry. And I moved so fast because I knew nothing. And I was innocent. And I was like you, always underestimating myself. I didn't have a spiritual ego. And I'm very earthy. So I think it's a great blessing. Because then you don't have to let go of everything else. You know, I've had so many people come, so full of ideas, belief systems, read so much, know everything. But consciousness, God, is simple. It's creation. It's innocent. It flows. It's not intellectual. It's of the heart. It's of the heart. No knowledge. Wisdom comes like that. So basic's good. Ask Zara.
Hi. These last weeks, I was able to see that all my stresses or all the things that moved me took me to the same point. A sabotage. Sabotage. I do things to feel bad. And I feel trapped in that, always hitting the same place. I don't know how to come out of that.
Of course you do. You know, you're addicted to suffering. Everyone in this room has an addiction to suffering. Okay, but now you can see it. The thing is, if you're very much in the moment, you start to choose instead of respond. You're responding from stress or your program, but if you're anchored in consciousness, you start to choose from consciousness. So all you have to do is be present and make that decision. I'm going to choose from consciousness. And you'll break it. You know, when we react and respond, we always choose the addiction. Always. All humans do that. And the more unconscious, more. People do things because they don't even know. But you know. You can see it. So the addiction's being broken. Be present. I need more sound. Choose. I need more volume. Choose. And when you don't choose, don't be violent. Just say, oh, well, I did it again. Okay, I'm not doing it next time. Consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Don't give it too much attention. Because that's another thing with suffering. The victim loves to look at it. I'm bad. I failed. I'm a loser. I'm blonde. You know.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.